totally consumed by passion. Put on a strategically placed shell, raise a little hell. Frolic in the surf, sand and turf, on totally new island.
Darling, show me love, tell me lies, you do something to me, make it all through the night. Touch me once, kiss me twice, you do something to me, on this isle of desire.
Kissed by eternal sun, kissed by eternal sun. A few miles north of the Tropic of Desire. Totally new island. Totally new island. Totally new island. Totally new island.
Let me along to your totally new island. Let me astray to your totally new island. Let me along to your totally new island.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the Tokyo Crypto Show, brought to you in part by Satoshi Nakamoto. Charlie, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Doing good. Have to wear a sweater for the first time all year. It's getting fucking cold in these parts, but besides that, everything's going pretty good.
I am Floridian to the bone. I despise the cold. The pink jacket is back out, and I was out with Mac. For you guys in body language mastery, you know who Mac is. He is the street game legend, but we are having some good old triggering conversations. Good old, I mean, every time there's like, if there is a Western girl or English speaking girl within our radius, man, oh man, do they get upset because they just can't handle the truth. It's fucking hilarious. I fucking love the guy.
Yeah, I remember one time you triggered one of those ladies. She started talking to you on the train. That was not a good mix.
She talked to me, right?
Yeah, she was trying to start shit basically.
How dare she?
We were just talking about having a good time in Tokyo, and she was just like, "Oh, you shouldn't be able to say that." And I was just like, "Let's, yeah, you're just gonna blow up on her." It was pretty funny.
My biggest question for her was like, what are you doing out of the kitchen? Like, where is your owner? Who let this?
She didn't have one. That's why she's here.
Who let this rebellious creature in our dwelling? Anyways, welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show, where we are experts on cryptocurrency, and more so, Charlie here from cultivatecrypto.com. Charlie, thanks for joining us as always.
Of course. It's always a good time.
Charlie is winning in life. Vikings are doing good. They're 4-2. Cowboys are like fucking Omise go. They're just in a downward spiral, heading into the trash, and
At least they're not Verge yet.
oh man, Verge is like the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, it could be worse. They're not dead yet, but yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, guys, we're going to talk today about a very important situation. A lot of people seem to, as you know, normies are norming at an all-time high. And everybody's saying, like, OMG, what's going on with Bitcoin? They have their 15-minute memory hole that they just seem to forget what's going on with the world. And everybody thinks that the crypto Armageddon is here. Bitcoin is a sham. A $7,000 to $8,000 Bitcoin. How dare you?
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of this year, you asked me, I think it was back in like maybe April. You were like, what do you think Bitcoin at the end of the year will be? And I was like, well, if we're between like 7.5 to 9,000, that'd be really, really good. I think we were at like, 5,000 at the time.
Yeah.
And
If that, maybe probably less.
yeah, April was 5,000, but March, I mean, I don't know if we talked about it in March or April. March would have been like, high threes, mid 4,000s or low 4,000s. But anyways, the point of it being is, I think on towards the beginning of the year, a good estimate for Bitcoin would have been, about $8,000 per Bitcoin.
Right.
And now we're stable at $8,000. People, if you were to tell people that around, 3,000, people would have been like, that's fucking wonderful.
Yep.
But, then you get people, like you said, with the short-term blinders, the recency bias, and I don't know why, but people just can't seem to remember or they can't seem to think out behind and in front more than 2 months in advance in general.
Yeah, it's like
The normies, at least.
It's like the general from the Matrix 3. He's like, can you people not think more than 10 minutes in front of your face, And that's just the normie population. That's why you, on the other side of the screen, wherever you are, you're probably a man, and you're paying attention to the cryptocurrency stuff. So we're going to talk about what's going on today, because I can't prove it, but I still believe that Bakkt is behind this shit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Wall Street, the smart money, the miners, they're all working together to suppress Bitcoin and its price at the moment. However, this is just like quantitative easing. This is delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's it's happened multiple times before. Mm-hmm. It's just done slightly differently each time. But, I think Spence put a good comment in. He's like, the only people who are actually mad about the price going down are the people who, basically bought at the top.
Right, at 11,000.
Or 12,000 or 13,000 or 14,000. I think the people who bought at like...
what was the high for today? Or this year?
13,008 or 900, something
this
like that.
This year?
Yeah. Back at the end of June.
Damn, time flies.
Yeah. Well, like, that's what I said, right? The last 2 months, people can't even remember back to June some of the time, right?
I'm just making all this money. It's just one. It's in run Rolex and out another Versace poppy robe. I mean, I don't even know.
Exactly. But I mean, at the same time, and you're more of a hodler, anyways. You're not so much a trader.
Oh, I've got PTSD from trading. Like you're more of a trader, and you're good at it.
You gotta go and get that PTSD first. I mean, you're gonna have losses for sure while you're trading, but the losses teach you how to win. But at the same time, right? It's like. It's a fucking battle, so it's not something that most people tend to give up on it after a little bit, because trading is definitely not for everybody. But just what I mean by the recency bias is just like, you get all the, especially news articles, a lot of FUD in the news. You get a lot of people saying, oh, it's the end of the world for Bitcoin, and I think everybody who watches this channel has paid attention to us long enough, basically to understand that not only is that basically to be expected, or also kind of obvious when they do it, but at the same time, it's actually the best opportunity, right? Buy when the market is fearful, sell when the fucking market is, greedy. So
if there was only a service where I can copy and paste blindly every single trade that I just receive anonymously through a Telegram group, and I do it at 25x leverage, and every trade is a winner, because that's how the real world works. And instead of just using the system to make myself billions of dollars, I'll sell a course I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, you're exactly right. You've been,
Why haven't you done this, Charlie?
because I'm not an scammer, extortionist.
Hey! I didn't say anything. Ooh, it's getting spicy in here. I gotta fucking cool off with those words. I'm just saying, like,
No, it's
it's not that simple. I can't just copy pasta my way to $1 million in Lambos and hoes and everything.
If markets were that easy, I mean, everybody'd be having a Lambo, right?
No, you're just a fucking beta male pussy who would.
Exactly. Well, I'm like, have you ever heard of the Palm Beach report?
Oh God, let's hear it.
You know how much they charge for their Bitcoin service?
Let's hear it.
$5,000
A month?
a year, I believe.
For what?
Remember Cliff High?
I do remember Cliff High.
It's basically Cliff High, because Cliff High had about 30 pages of, I don't know what you want to call it, astrological, looking into the movement of the sun and the moon and how it relates to Bitcoin or some shit.
Fucking Mercury retrograde is gonna cause a fucking spike in the candles. Oh Lord.
Yeah, exactly. And so he had like 30 pages a month of like, whatever his voodoo whatever was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with like the Palm Beach report. And if you talk to Eddie, the cybersecurity guy that was on your show before, he has the same opinion. He was like, I'd never want to hear anything about the Palm Beach report, because all they do is they basically tell people, buy as many cryptocurrencies as you can, and then one of them will do well, and they charge you $5,000 to tell you that.
So like buy New York City coin, and then hopefully that goes to the moon.
Yeah, or a First Blood coin. Or
Daniel Jones is more likely to win the Super Bowl than fucking New York fucking coin going to the moon. Guys, smash that like button. We've got over 30 people in the house live. Be sure to share this. I'm pretty sure I'm being shadow banned by YouTube because I've seen it kind of drop in my numbers. Go out there, share this, send it to your filthy, stinking crypto normie friends who think Bitcoin is an actual coin and they can only buy one coin at a time. Man, I gotta say that our good pal Luca, who's becoming kind of he's in the body language mastery course. He's
super smart guy.
He's in your Telegram course, ultra smart guy.
Yeah.
Like. And that's I'm a judgmental fucker, and if I say
that's true.
if I say you're smart, that's like me, complimenting a woman almost. It's just like that. It means something. It means something.
That's funny.
This guy's a fucking genius. He sent me that video, the $10 million Bitcoin. I was thinking we gotta like have like a popcorn party and like watch that entire video and do a breakdown, a breakdown.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a marathon. It'll be like a 2 to 3 hour episode.
That'd be kind of fun though.
I think it would be.
There's also I forgot his name, not Bobby Lee, because that's a fucking comedian from like the U.S. But I think it was something Lee. Anyway, can't remember his fucking name, but he's on CNBC. He also gave an argument for, I think it was $1 million Bitcoin by the end of 2030.
Wow. I'll still be alive then, hopefully.
Yeah. And so I think some of those predictions, they are pretty far flung, but it also depends what happens with the US dollar, right? If hyperinflation actually took hold even to a small extent in the United States at any point, that would automatically push up stable assets like gold and Bitcoin.
Hyperinflation. I don't know, man. You think the government will let that...
I think they're gonna. I don't think hyperinflation is that realistic. I think a recession is, but
which nation will get some freedom if we have to get out of a fucking...
all of them probably.
Oh Lord,
it might not be pretty.
I mean,
you just named the ones that basically most companies that want to do business in the United States won't do business with, which is like China or Russia.
Yeah.
A lot of third world countries. Basically, those would be the ones on the list probably.
Oh my God. What are we going to do? Hologram says, John, I've been trading Bitcoin since before Anthony Dream Johnson had his first homosexual experience. That means you've been trading Bitcoin since it came out. And apparently...
theoretically earlier if he had a time machine, because I don't know how long Anthony's been doing that, maybe since birth.
Well, him and his inbred sister just had a child, so they're good. George Bruno pooped it out. He was the fucking surrogate father.
Do we have a meme for that? That sounds like a beautiful meme.
Probably. It's brewing there somewhere. But anyways, so instead of our endless stream of incoherent babble, let's actually talk about something that means
Hey,
something.
it's coherent. It's just babble.
It is. It is very coherent. But anyways, guys, listen. We know that you're probably. This is not financial advice, but we know that you're probably, slightly concerned with the price of Bitcoin. I know people in the audience, like Simon, are wanting Bitcoin to hit 50 grand so they can take all their money and invest it into something else. But I don't know. What do you? Let's just jump right into the charts, shall we? Let's do that.
Yeah, let's jump in. And let's see. Are we sharing the screen?
We are right now. We got a monitor feedback right here, so
Alrighty, sweet.
we should be good to go though.
Yeah, so basically it was what I think about 2 or 3 hours ago. I put out the most recent update in my Telegram group because, to be honest, Bitcoin hadn't been doing much of anything for basically it's been ranging between 8,000 and 8,500 for the longest time.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for this drop, basically this drop back into this support resistance zone here, but then a drop out of that down into the 7.2K region.
And that's when you sell, right? You buy it 13,000, and then you panic sell at 7, and then you blame everything on Trump, climate change, bitches squeezing milk out of their titties at fucking climate change protests.
That's pretty much what most of the normies do. And
Right.
so you want to try to avoid that, right? And so in my opinion, understanding why price changes the way it does is important, even if it might not affect how you trade. But anyways, so we're looking for this downwards price action still. And about 2 or 3 hours ago in my Telegram group, I think the price was about 8,200 or about 8,150, something like that. I said, we're probably going to get a significant drop here once the new 6-hour chart comes up around 9 or 10 p.m. Japan time, basically 1 or 2 hours ago. And we've dropped about $200. We got a $200 drop in the last just couple of hours.
Right.
So U.S. is waking up, selling.
Yep.
But yeah, just in terms of long term, right? The worst, back here when we were, we were kind of basically looking at this as either it could go up or it could go down, and it chose the latter because of, we talked about the backed ETFs at that time having effect to push the dominoes in the right direction. And so now that we got that, the next logical target is about 7,200. We do have an argument as well for $6,400-$6,500 Bitcoin. So we'll also talk about that. But whatever dip we do get here at the end of October, we really need, whether it's at 7,200, 7,400, or 6,400, it needs buy volume, basically. That's the thing that's been lacking in Bitcoin. So in order to get this bounce back up here, it needs significant buy volume. And usually when that happens in Bitcoin is once everybody says it's dead, it's never coming back. So getting to that kind of max pain scenario. If it does last longer, I mean, it could, go for another month or two, basically into November, December, ranging at these areas. I don't really see it going below 6,000, in my opinion. But hey, a lot of the guys in our group, especially, I think Simon mentioned this in our group. He's like, I don't really care whether the price goes up or down too much. Just I have a scenario in place to play both ends, right? And so, you won't catch every move, but as long as you're playing with the trend, and currently the trend is still to the downside, as long as you're playing with the trend, you'll be fine. So the trend is your friend. That's the simplest probably advice anybody can get in trading. But a lot of people try to preemptively predict the trend going the other way, and that's where you end up losing. So just understanding that we still have this downwards area to go, and that's probably, I would say, 70% likely, and we're showing it now that we're starting to test this area. And if we look at it on the short term, we can see that here, this area coming down into the last week of October. Now, another scenario could be that we come down here and that we start popping up actually a little bit above, basically at the price we are now. The price we are now, or maybe $100 lower. If we all of a sudden started seeing a bunch of buy volume and we got back above 8,600 or 8,800, then I would have to change my tune here. But we would need a lot of buy volume coming in here right now, which basically hasn't been happening as we've been hitting this zone. A lot of this buyback has been very short-lived. I mean, this bounce here was from the 6th to the 10th, so only 4 days of actual positive price action in this region of price. So in general, you want to stay with the trend, which is down.
So where do you place the 25x leverage to make $1 million and buy a Lamborghini?
$1. I'm going with $1, Bob.
You're going with $1. Oh God, spin the wheel.
No, I mean this 7,200, 64 to 7,200 region.
Yeah,
is a fucking steal. If we get that, it's amazing. But a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today is paying attention to the smart money. And the smart money comes in 2 forms in crypto, maybe 3. One, Wall Street, people who are used to the old game getting into the new game. And that's what you mentioned in the title. And that's what we mentioned with Backed before, and the CME as well. And then 2, the whales, the people who have a lot of money in crypto. And that, by a lot of money, I mean like anywhere between 100 million to $500 million. It's a fucking lot of money.
yeah.
So there are people like that are moving around crypto. And then 3, the miners. So the Bitcoin miners, paying attention to the actions that those guys are taking is the most important. And so I'll leave it at that. We'll go through that information for now, just kind of give that solid bit of information. Did you have any other things on the chart? I'm good on the chart.
No, it's just, I'm kind of, I'm just going to blatantly say that I really thought that we were heading for at least 15,000 this year. I called it earlier, but I just sense some fuckery. I just really do. And I just can't stomach that, this back thing launches and then a week later, it was like 1 week.
No, it was just a couple of days.
Couple days after, the price absolutely tanks.
Yeah, and it's, part of the way the game works. I mean, technically we had the setup here to be able to go long. But, you got the powers who be, the people who have more money deciding, hey, let's squeeze more juice out of this. And they tend to go for maximum pain scenarios to get, the stupid money liquidated, basically, to take other, the stupid people's money. So the only way that you win in crypto long term is holding, right? So that's why I always tell people, make sure that, kind of the 80-20 principle, that 80% of your holdings is in cold storage where you're not trading it. Then anywhere between 5 to 30% of your holdings, you can do trading in order to maximize, opportunity, but then also to learn how to do trading, how to be basically chart literate, so that when we do come to a top of the market, like this in 2019, or a top of the market here in 2017, that how to get out safely, save your profits, and then buy back in at lower prices to compound your Bitcoin and also your profits.
Right.
Because long term, you're going to want to stay in the game. But every once in a while, maybe once a quarter, once a year, once a month, depending on how frequent you do it, you're going to want to make a few trades to either make money or protect your money.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. So what we're going to talk about today is just our theory on how smart money, Wall Street, etc., is doing their best to suppress the price of Bitcoin. Currently, as of right now, Bitcoin is teetering between 8,000 and 7,900. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance is at 66%. It's been pretty high for a while now.
Yeah, I think since midsummer it's been in the 60s.
That's really a good sign. Very interesting, man. I mean, I'm kind of at, if I would say anybody is to, well, I can't speak for other people, but I will speak for myself, saying that, I think that for my personal style, swing trading is the best for me. For my personal
I would
style.
say for most people.
Yeah, I mean, these people who, I don't know, you gotta smoke a lot of meth or something to be a day trader. I couldn't fucking do it.
Well, yeah, remember our old coworker who was a day trader?
Oh, yeah. Carl
Yeah.
Sanders.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do it every day, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that stresses people the fuck out.
Yeah, poor guy's, all his hair is pretty much gone. It's no bueno. So Rob, we're gonna talk about that today. So
let's just do a quick mention of this because it's kind of relevant new information.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about this real quick. Take a look at the spread of Bitcoin continues. Miami International Airport gets its first Bitcoin ATM now.
And strategically placed between Latin America and
America, right? So if you make a couple of them cocaine dollars, you can quickly funnel it into Bitcoin and take it across the border. No, I'm just joking. Never do that. But a very is auspicious the word location? Is that a very very interesting? Take a look at the ATM. It's in Miami. So this is the ATM here in Miami International Airport. Take a look at it. Pretty cool logo at the top there. I like that Back to the Future.
it's just like like they whoever has Bitcoin or Jose has Bitcoin, what are we going to do? We're not going to follow him on what he talks about, on his phone or while he's in the States. We're not going to wiretap him at all. So it's just one of those things where, it's not the location you want to be buying or selling Bitcoin is not in the Miami International Airport.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and for safety purposes, that's like the key word all the big corporations use when they try to fuck you over. Like, oh, it's for your safety. But in reality,
And
for
the
you,
government.
and the government, big one. But actually, for your guys' safety, it is always best to try and do as many of your cryptocurrency transactions as anonymously as possible, because it's none of anybody's fucking business.
Yeah.
It's a big, big, big glass of none of your fucking business. You don't need to know about where I hold my crypto dollars. You don't need to know anything. And if you're engaging, we talked about it on the, Charlie was a guest last night on the Body Language Mastery webinars, and we talked for about an hour about just cryptocurrency, fielding questions from the 80 plus members in the webinar that attended. Fun. Yeah, it was great. Rich Cooper was there. It was a really good time. Those things are so fun. We're gonna do another one tonight, tonight and today after the show. But we are kind of already putting ourselves at risk by saying that we own crypto. I actually sold all my crypto today. I don't own anymore.
Yeah, I lost all mine in the mining, stuff I was investing in. So I'm just going to post a huge loss.
I paid all my taxes on it first, then I lost it all.
Yeah.
So please send a donation right there, streamlabs.com/Modern Life Dating Channel to help me recover my crypto losses. I paid all my taxes to the United States government. Then I lost it all trading. That's why I basically didn't do what you say. I didn't 25x leverage it, and now I lost it all. So next time, just send me a copy paste. I can do it.
Or you did not follow what I said, and you did 25x it in that, then you did lose all of it.
No, because if you 25x every trade on BitMEX, like, just by taking anonymous copy paste trades, you're just going to become a millionaire, and I just didn't do that. So,
And especially if you look at the orders that are already there and try to just copy what other people are doing on the exchange.
Yes. Absolutely. For the rocket scientist who is on Instagram saying, I can't see it, that's because we're also broadcasting on YouTube. So come over to youtube.com, type in Modern Life Dating, and then come to the Tokyo Crypto Show episode 34, Why Wall Street is Pushing the Price of Bitcoin Down. Come on over. You can see the whole screen. It's free.
Yeah, I was going to say that guy probably thinks like some ghost talkers on there because like your phone screen can only show so much too.
I don't know. It's funny. He probably is fucking holding Omise Go. I fucking have Omise Go on a USB around here somewhere. That's how much I don't even care about it anymore. It's just floating around. But yeah, so the price is being suppressed. Let's jump into it. Why don't you take over from here, Charlie?
Yeah. So I think the main thing that we want to focus on is there's two ways of looking at suppression. There's part of it that's looking at it as manipulation, which I think the beginning of it is. But once you get a price to go in a certain direction, people follow, right? Mm-hmm. So people start trading that price as the regular price. So in terms of backed, when we talk about them getting into the game and then things change soon thereafter, that's just kind of the tipping the dominoes in the right direction. After that, you get other players in the game who then take advantage of that downwards price movement, right?
Right.
And so the two biggest beneficiaries of that downwards price movement, if they're playing their cards right, are the whales and also the miners. Why are the miners beneficiary of it? Because they can still mine a bunch of Bitcoin and they know what's going to happen with the price more than not. So the thing that I look at is what are their actions, not what are their words for all three of those categories, right? So the main one that I want to look at today, because we haven't talked about it so much in the past, is the miners. What are the miners doing right now? And how will that, why are they doing it, right? So if we take a look at just a couple headlines, you can see things that are obviously going in the right direction. So this is interesting. There's a Texas startup that's starting to try to, there's a guy named Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire.
Co-founder of PayPal.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
With Elon Musk, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, smart dude. And, I mean, this is a little bit way too ambitious, trying to steal China's crypto crown. I'll tell you a little bit more about China's crypto stuff later, but basically all you need to know is about 60% or so of Bitcoin mining is done out of China.
60?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe more.
Oh my God, man. Slavery has its perks.
Yeah. Well, they get a lot of cheap electricity because it's government-run places. They brought down the price a lot. But anyways, this is a overly ambitious plan. But the fact that they want to basically fight for market share over mining, right? Even though the price is low, it's kind of an oxymoron. It would seem. It would seem like something that's a little bit against what normally they should be doing, because last November, December, when Bitcoin was down around 3,000, 4,000, a lot of miners were actually shutting off. So there are basically from, I would say, 2009 to 2013, you had your first phase of mining, which was your normal people, internet nerd mining, right? So that's anybody who'd mine it on a laptop. Then your second phase, which is just basically finished at the end of 2018, beginning of this year, when they shut off all their miners because the price was too low.
Right.
That was what we call like between retail and industrial level mining, meaning a company could mine it, but at a non-industrial level. But now we've gotten to a point where these people are fighting so much for any sliver of market share in mining that a lot of the retail smaller miners basically went kind of bankrupt during the last dip. And a lot of the ones coming in now are basically trying to look for that open space in 2019. And so when the price is low, it's actually a good time for them to come in and aggressively go after this. So that's why Peter, among other people, is trying to get more into mining recently. Also,
They say you're a little low.
okay, is the volume up on this?
It is.
All right. The other thing, I don't know if I'll lean in here. If it's on, is it on the?
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit.
Alrighty. The other thing to notice is this company here called Blockstream. This is a Canadian-based company, but the guy who runs it is a guy named Adam Back, who is one of the guy who made proof of work, part of the algorithm to mine Bitcoin. And so he's making a mining company. It makes sense. But what they're trying to do is in Canada, they're opening up, and you can see it in this information here. Basically, a 300 megawatt ability to mine, which is basically an entire power plant worth of energy. This guy here is a little bit kind of talking about the environment and shit. But there's some people who are like, mining Bitcoin's worse for the environment than blah blah blah. It's bullshit. But anyways, the fact that they're devoting this much energy and this much power to go to mining in Canada as well, just shows you follow their actions, not their words. Also here, this is brought to you by our friend Roger, but I mentioned this on the webinar today, is in Texas. They have a lot of excess runoff from fracking and oil drilling. I guess this is probably a better picture of it. I don't know how you want to look at it, but basically, they got these miners here coming in to take in that excess gas, and they're making free money, but they just have to buy the hardware because
the excess gas is converting into a fuel source that is mining Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Not bad.
So I mean, they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't profitable, right?
Who invented that? A man or a woman?
I'm pretty sure a man. And Roger's on it. This is Roger Ver's website, so he's talking all about it.
Somehow that's sexist, right?
I guess so. I kind of get weirded out when people in America get so triggered. I'm just like, because in Japan, I'm so used to like people being like,
just blunt.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Being honest.
It's telling the truth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Japanese, guys and stuff, they never mince their words.
Yep.
But anyways, and when I first started translating that stuff, I was kind of like, interesting. But anyways, here you can see also kind of the mining share. So here, Antpool, Poolin, BTC.com, and F2Pool are all based in China.
What are these pools?
So this is the distribution of mining groups. And so, for example, Antpool is from a company called Bitmain in China, which is also basically the market share that these two companies, Peter Thiel and Blockstream, are trying to take market share away from are the guys who own Antpool, also own Poolin, also own BTC.com, and also they basically the same company is in charge of all of these pools, and they are groups that try to put their computing power together to mine Bitcoin. And so,
and all these big ones are in China, or 3 of them are?
4 of them.
BTC.com's in China?
Yes.
Jesus.
And so they changed the names of Poolin and BTC.com to make it look like they're not based out of China. And also you got Huboy Pool, which is 7.6%, which is obviously a Chinese one as well. So, but the company who is behind these is called Bitmain. And they have a guy named Jihan Wu, who used to have a lot more leverage over the crypto world. But recently he had to lay off 3,000 employees because he basically fucked up their mining operations.
Oh, God.
And so that's why that plus the price being cheap at a time when it shouldn't be cheap is why you get these two companies, Peter Thiel and Blockstream, trying to come in and saying, hey, there's an opportunity here. It might not last very long. So that's why I say, the miners, they're not shutting down. They were shutting down at the end of 2018 when the price was super low. They're not shutting down now.
No, of course not.
They know that this current price that we have is temporary. right? So that just looking at the facts, just looking at what they're doing, will give you that. Wall Street tries to spin more of a narrative, which is why it's harder to kind of look at some of the data outright with what they're doing, with ETFs and so forth. But with mining, it's all on the blockchain. We can see it all. So it's pretty interesting. But they do try to hide that these two are Chinese. So yeah, that's basically it with that. But there's also this tweet which I shared with my Telegram group. If you go to this guy, Cole Garner, BTC, he probably has the best tweet thread of the year when it comes to Bitcoin. And he basically gives a really good reason why Bitcoin's floor is probably low 6,000s at best. It might not even get down to that low, right? I'm saying about 7.2 is kind of where I'm targeting. But if you take a look here, they had a case for why. They said this before Bitcoin got to 20K. This guy on TradingView actually gave a good reason why he thought a low would come in towards 3K. And it's one simple reason, which is cost of production. So you talk about supply demand when we talked about the halving, right? Supply demand is one of the main reasons for why an asset goes up in price when supply goes down and demand goes up. The other thing in the case of Bitcoin for mining is how much does it cost, right? Same with gold. How much does it cost versus how much is there in circulation and all of that jazz. So the cost of mining Bitcoin, the reason why he was saying if we do get a pump and then a jump after 20K, it would go towards 3K is because the cost of mining is roughly I think they said $8,130 at that time to mine one Bitcoin would be your general production cost. And so the price went back down to that price. If you go down here to one of these tweets, he's basically saying the current production cost after the halving would then be double that, which would be about $6,400. So it's a pretty good argument for the miners want to bring the cost down towards production, so having the price go down towards that is not a bad thing. If you take a look at this as well, this just basically tells you how the smart money or how the miners think, right? So even Satoshi Nakamoto had this quote: the price of any commodity, and Bitcoin is a commodity, the CFTC and the SEC say it's a commodity, and this tends to gravitate towards the cost of production or the production cost. So most people, when they're trading Bitcoin, they don't think about these things, but they should. And so I would say take a look at this guy's information, but basically, it's a pump and dump. They can easily get the price double or more than the production cost. And then when they want to bring it back down, they can just start selling off either through whale shares or through ETFs. So they can have people who have a lot of Bitcoin, like whales, they can start to sell it off bit by bit, or they can go on CME and they can go on Backed and get an ETF to hedge their risk. Most, like for example, like an airline company, they might go and buy an ETF for oil or for fuel, so that they basically don't get fucked with the price of fuel. So the guys who are miners as well will try to affect the price of Bitcoin with ETFs and with the amount of Bitcoin that they hold in order to bring the cost towards production, not necessarily back down to it exactly. So the whole point of this is, the miners and the whales have have just as much say in the price as Wall Street, but then also this is their incentive, and it's pretty logical.
Right.
So yeah, the other thing, I guess, so that's the main subject for today. Did you have any thoughts on that, or is it pretty clear cut?
I mean, so in the layman's terms, how are the miners keeping the price down?
So they can either sell a lot of Bitcoin, right, on the market, and they can do that in multiple ways. They can do that through ETFs. They can do it through over-the-counter trading. they can do it on an actual exchange as well. So for example, when the price of Bitcoin was around 9,000, if they started seeing that the price was going to start rolling down, they can see on the exchange, on like BitMEX, for example, where people's orders are. And so they can purposely sell, knowing that other people's sell orders will automatically get generated, and then they'll buy back in cheaper. But we were actually, I think Luca actually sent a video across about market manipulation as it's done in the traditional stock market into our Telegram group today. And it's basically the exact same thing. They see where most of the retail traders, most of the normal people on the market are putting their orders, and then they do, when they can, they try to do the opposite of it.
We're in for a bumpy road. I think it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see where we're going to be at the end of next year, end of 2020. I think that in the beginning of 2021.
Yeah.
There are some people who said we're never going to see the heights and insanity like we did in Q4 of 2017. Some people are saying we'll never see that again. What do you think?
In terms of price or in terms of
price
psychology?
Price action and price.
Okay, in terms of price, easily. I think 20,000 is like nothing to Bitcoin. We don't have the chart up on here, but the room between basically 14,000 and 20,000, the amount of time that Bitcoin spent in that region was only 2 weeks in December of 2017.
Right.
And so that means there's not that much strength or of resistance in that area. So once Bitcoin breaks above, especially like 14 to 16,000, once it breaks above that region, there's no historical price above that region. So people then start over speculating, and the price ramps up again. But if I was to be a devil's advocate and say, anything, even a tree, has only a certain rate that it can grow to, right? Like a cherry blossom or a redwood are going to grow differently based on their genetics.
Right.
And so it's the same with stocks. Through price speculation, you learn kind of what's the genetic of a stock or what's the genetic of a commodity or an asset. So that's what Bitcoin is going through. If it truly has found its top at about 20,000, then that could be better for traders, simply because we know what price levels, what support resistance are for historical price action. So even if it goes down, I can bet to the downside and make money that way as well. It won't be good for retail people who are just buying and holding.
Right.
But for traders, they don't care quite as much.
Very cool. Very, very interesting. Let's move on to the next one you have there.
Yeah, so I got a couple of memes, but the last thing of like good information, just solid information I wanted to share was this information here, which is related to mining and the halving as well.
Yep.
Which is...
Can you make that bigger?
Yeah.
There we go.
The amount of months prior to the halving and Bitcoin's price. So you can kind of see...
So the most prior halving was 4 years ago, 2012.
2016.
Oh, 2016, excuse me. Yeah.
And then before that, 2012, yep.
Wow, so yeah, it's 4-year increments. So we got 2012.
And then this is the percentage of price that it went up. And then
far right's percentage.
Yeah, so if you take a look here, like you can just see, we are right now at 6 months before the 2020 halving. Bitcoin's price in 2012 jumped up from $5 to $12, which is 2.3 times. And then, let's see. In 2016, it jumped from 350 to 650 at the time, which is 1.7 times. Oops. But if we were to just open this thing up here, the thing that's most interesting about this chart is simply the months before the halving and the price increase. So about 6 months is when the price starts to find like a bottom. 5 months, both times the price went up. In 2016, it was a little bit slower. The 4th to 3rd month was only a slight increase. And then it started going kind of started going kind of crazy. And this was the early bull market. Remember, this wasn't the craziness of 2017, right? This is in 2016. And then in 2012, it had a little bit more of a strong push up. But anyways, 5 to 6 months, which is where we are now, before the halving. Well, the halving is estimated to be May, so 6 months would be about November, December, right? So around that time is when we start seeing that steady increase, which also goes well with the price action we're seeing currently, a dip down here at the end of October. Then once we get into November, December, slowly build back up. And then January onwards, we start to ride another roller coaster. So,
So you would say that, because there's some people out there saying like the days that of making big money in cryptocurrency, like Q4 2017, are long gone.
nah. It's
You
going to
sure?
be, yeah, for the next 5 to 10 years.
What if I paid a $2,000 fee to you to make the course, and then you told me that? Would it change the outcome?
No.
Okay, I'll just buy Bitcoin with that $2,000 instead and just
There you
watch
go.
this show for free. Problem solved.
Well,
All right,
except
guys,
that
we'll see you next week.
Except that you probably end up losing money and going through a lot of pain, but yeah.
Oh,
But I'm not going to be
Lord.
charging $2,000 anyway as well.
Oh, God. Yeah, let's just keep going.
No, that's basically it with the price.
Let's see some memes. What are the memes we got?
We got these two.
Okay. New feature from Google. I want to sell Bitcoins in the search, and then mental hospital wants to know your location. Guys, just because we are experiencing some price, you don't get stingy now. It's just like when I teach you guys about dating. When Charlie teaches you guys about cryptocurrency and stuff, remember, slow and steady wins the race. Don't get too ahead of yourself trying to win a fucking $1 million in a day. There are no shortcuts. Like our good friend over at Entrepreneurs in Cars likes to say, do the work. Do not sell your Bitcoin unless you hit your goals and you're ready. Remember, my overall goal with this, I mean, despite my recent tragic situation with me losing all my Bitcoin and all my cryptocurrency after paying my taxes, my goal was to buy a house. So that's that was my thing. It's like, if I didn't lose all my cryptocurrency, if I could come out with a house scot-free, or for, investing a couple of grand, and next thing you know, play the markets right, do a couple swing trades, compound your Bitcoin with incremental wins increasing by 10 to 6%, every other month, ideally. Sure, you may not seem like a lot, but, that compounds. And then, you have to have a goal before you get into stuff. Don't be like, oh, I just want to be rich.
You have to have two things, a goal and a strategy, right?
Right.
So you have to understand the market, and that usually takes time to pay attention to. Then you have to have a goal, like you said. What's your ultimate goal? Do you want to double your money? Do you want to get a house? What's the monetary goal that you're looking for? Also, how are you going to get there? How are you not going to fuck up on the way there? And how are you going to succeed on the way there? Or how are you going to succeed more than most on the way there? And part of that is just hitting the market when the iron is hot at the right time. And the only way you're going to know that is by paying attention to it. And it's on a consistent basis.
It's a 24/7 hour market too, so you gotta have gotta have your It could be 5 o'clock in the morning. You gotta be ready. Like, oh fuck, what's going on? I gotta make a move. But
or buy, or I mean, if you're cost averaging in, if you're buying a little bit every week or every day or every month, the price fluctuation is going to be a lot less, volatile on you as well.
Good. Let's go to the next meme.
Yeah, this one's just kind of funny for the people who are watching the coins right now. Trying to ride the wave up. Oh, Smart Money says, "Fuck you, man."
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. Good lord, I just watching all the other shit coins fail is it's something else. I gotta say, it's definitely something else. Like I said, I still believe that these fuckers are to blame for our current drop. I mean, I'm gonna say it till my
it.
I'm gonna say they're definitely the catalyst of what's going on. This is called BackedBot, and this is tracking the activity on Backed, so you can follow them on Twitter, kind of just see what is going on here.
Which is still extremely low for when it comes to ETFs or just general Wall Street trading, right? 22 Bitcoin within today, 17 yesterday. Still very, very low in terms of money when it comes to Wall Street. So, but it's interesting to watch.
Definitely so. So I mean, what do we think? I think personally, based off of everything you said, it seems like this is just them trying to fucking push the price down in order to accumulate more Bitcoin at a lower price. That's what I'm thinking right
Pretty
there.
much. And any of the whales or anybody who's into crypto, they're always, anybody who's in the long-term game is going to want cheap Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
So the guys who've been watching this channel, consistently throughout the year, they understand that throughout, this year, most of these guys have turned into bears because of us. They want to see the price go down so they can buy cheap Bitcoin.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, which, is a smart way to look at it, right? Yep. Most people don't look at it in that way. And so, I'm happy that we're able to actually get people on the right path from the beginning, because so much of the information out there on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is the exact opposite. They tend not to give people a realistic point of view on it. And so they're always talking about, that $1 million Bitcoin, the $10 million Bitcoin, which is, within reason eventually. But you got to keep, your goals both in the short term as well as the long term. But the people who are in it long term want the cheap Bitcoin.
I would say that if you were to do this, you need to, like that roasting oven they used to sell in the United States, just set it and forget it, like just just make like a fund every month. Okay, this is not financial advice, but just stack away a little bit of Bitcoin every month, and you'll thank me. You'll thank me in 3 to 5 years. Just keep on. Do it on localbitcoins.com, anonymously through some ATMs. Run a VPN, start a Binance account, withdraw it to your Bread wallet. I mean, there's numerous ways to do it, but
use Wasabi wallet.
Use Wasabi wallet as well. I mean, there's so many ways, but just because we have a small dip right now doesn't necessarily mean you got to think long term. Anything you do in life, you got to plan for the long term. That being said, I still stand by my initial statement, which I believe every man should own at least one Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is the currency of the internet, and it is growing with the internet's prevalence, and the internet's prevalence and power is only growing more and more by the day. It's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. It is truly something remarkable. I mean, we're literally creating a human hive mind, and you don't want to miss out on this. That's all I got to say. It's not that much money, especially now, like with Bitcoin being so cheap.
It's great.
It really is the time.
Go for two.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just throw $1,000 a month, something like that, I mean, it's definitely worth it. It's not fool's gold. Don't listen to idiots like Peter Schiff. And, I think ultimately you will be very satisfied coming. I mean, if you listen to us in the beginning of the year, I mean, I'm still in the profit for the whole year.
Yeah.
Based off of my purchases.
Yeah, we started talking about it at 3,600.
So I'm fucking Gucci. I'm good to go.
At the same time, you do want to be able to protect those profits as well, right? So
for sure.
It's being able to play both sides of the game, but mainly, accumulating over time. But also, I think the people in Wall Street and the people who have done trading of assets for a long time, the one thing that they also understand is not looking at the dollar price, looking at the percentage of moves.
Right.
Right. Because when the price goes down, if you trade it short or if you trade it to the downside, you get more Bitcoin. Right. So because we know this thing long term, like you said, the power of the internet, it's stacking sats, it's getting more Bitcoin. So if the price goes down, you get a higher percentage of Bitcoin as it goes down for a lower price. Like you said, you'd only get half a Bitcoin at 14,000, but now you can get a whole Bitcoin at 7,000.
Yep.
Twice as good. whereas most people will view it the opposite way.
That's going to do it for us this week here on the Tokyo Crypto Show, guys. Thank you so much for listening in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and go check out Charlie at cultivatecrypto.com. Join his Telegram group where we have conversations like this literally around the clock, 24/7, 365. The markets never sleep. We have a global team in there. We got people in Asia, Australia, United States, Europe. You're not going to want to miss out on that. Follow Charlie on all social media at Cultivate Crypto. Go to his YouTube channel where he does 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time morning shows Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Friday, most Fridays. Until then, we will catch you guys later. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Get out there. Be happy. Don't worry. It's not coming to the end of the world. And just keep an eye on those prices. Until then, bye-bye.